everybody, welcome back. In this video I want to talk a little bit about UX laws. What are they, who uses them, do you need to know about them, and so on. Before we start, for those joining for the first time, my name is Antonia, I'm a product designer and I talk about product design, Figma, how to work in a team in modern agile world, and so on. Going back on the topic of UX laws, well, these are not really laws. Laws should not be broken, but actually these are more like guidelines. I mean, these are not things written in stone that you cannot break or avoid, or you can actually adjust your app to your users, and that's actually the best you can do. All these practices are some common ground rules, let's say, how things work for most apps. But it's not, again, written in stone. Maybe some different way works for your product much better. But that said, it's really, really good if you understand all these principles, because they are based on psychology research, they are based on many case studies, and vast majority of apps are actually implementing them. So there is some truth. Together, we're gonna go through one extremely important resource called growth.design. This website contains case studies and app breakdowns, and they're teaching you how to use all these principles that we're about to see in a proper way. So if you go to this website under psychology, you can find all these things. Majority of content is still like work in progress, but let's start with what they have. And first one is Hick's law. More options leads to harder decisions. I think this one is extremely important and something you should immediately hear about, because as we can see from, let's see, this example, Trello is not using this guideline, and in their onboarding they're showing way too much options. And what is danger of showing too much options? Well, it can scare off people. If they need to choose something, they might spend too much time. They might experience fatigue and, in the end, just churn, close your app, and there you go. You just lost the customer. Then let's see another example over here with Zapier. We have so many links over here, 15 header links. And we are now at, subscription page, which is very important, and all the focus should be on this thing over here. So I guess this view could be a little bit less distracting. And then below all these examples you have checklist, try to reduce number of options, hide them, try to, minimize them. If you can't minimize, then you can make them at least skimmable, and so on. Then let's see what's confirmation bias. Well, I guess this one is self-explanatory. People look for evidence that confirms what they think. I mean, if you are following internet drama, should we vaccinate or not, left or right when it comes to politics and so on, if you firmly believe into something, internet will deliver exactly the stuff you want to see, so you can confirm your attitude, your opinion. I'm not sure if you're gonna have situation where you need to think about this one if you're producing like SaaS app, but it's good to know. So next they talk about priming previous stimuli influence users' decision. So if we jump into first example, let's see what we have here. The friendly looking airport landscape lets users dream about their next trip, increasing the chances of a positive experience. So it's a tactics where like surroundings of this little actually form might help users be happier while using the app, and maybe even booking something. If you start to dream about something, you get crazy ideas, so it might help. Next thing they talk about is cognitive load. This is very important for you to understand. This is total amount of mental effort that is required to complete a task. So let's jump into example immediately. And as you can see, this is onboarding in Tinder. You're registering your account over here, and they have broken each question, each task into a separate view. Just imagine if they would put all of these questions in one very long form. This is, for example, how you can influence the first law we mentioned, Hick's law. Instead of having this overwhelming amount of options, they just broken all the pieces in separate views, hence enhancing user experience, because users can focus on one thing at a time and proceed forward. And in the end, users might think it was not so hard to complete it. Opposed to very long form, you immediately experience fatigue and you don't want to do it. Then anchoring bias. Users rely heavily on the first piece of information they see. So first they're trying to get to you with most popular tag over here. This is a social proof. I mean, if others did it, like if most other people have chosen this one, then it's probably the best, right? And then also the first option is the most expensive one. So this doesn't seem so bad, right? And also the third thing they noticed, they didn't put buy over here, but continue. It's so much more benign to tap on continue than on buy. So I guess good job Tinder on this one. Then we have nudge. Subtle hints can affect users' decision. So in this example we have Airbnb. This is a really good sentence. Users don't want more filters, they want better results. So basically what they're doing here, they're nudging people to maybe select some of these options over here, because if they need to use filters immediately, users need to understand and know about benefits again immediately, which is not maybe the case for every person looking at your app. So, you know, I think key here is personalization. It was not mentioned over here, but instead of relying on user filtering your raw data, how about you figure out some cool way of personalizing the whole experience for a user? We have another example from Amazon. So instead of showing their new feature of subscribing in your face, they're offering an option during checkout, and they're actually incentivizing you to choose that one because they are offering some discounts. So this is a very subtle way of, you know, nudging users into a direction you want them to be without being too annoying. And the last one we're gonna mention today, progressive disclosure. Users are less overwhelmed if they're exposed to complex features later. So we are browsing. We know basics of the app, but then with this gamification, they are rewarding you with a new button that is rewind. So first, you feel a little bit special because you unlocked something, and gamification is usually very successful with users. And also, you're learning about this new feature. So they didn't just show all the buttons immediately because, you know, they need to teach you about them. They didn't show the full interface in the beginning, which is a very curious pattern. I like it. And then they teach you as you get more and more comfortable with the app. This is a really nice example. And as you can see, they're preparing a lot of juicy content over here. It's gonna be super nice. And I also want to show you one other site. So this is another super great resource for learning all these laws and principles and getting some case studies and so on. If you go to menu, you can see they have 20 different case studies or researches that will help you be a better designer. So over here they're talking about law of proximity. Each law has a cool illustration to help you understand what they mean. And over here, as you can see, we have, you know, these ovals, but because of this space, our brain actually thinks of these ovals as two groups, because these are closer together, and this space actually makes a distinction between this column over here. And they also say objects that are near or proximate to each other tend to be grouped together, which is exactly what I explained right now. And also you can buy some stuff and read about origins, and you have some extra reading if you want as well. And that's pretty much it. I wanted to show you these two websites because they helped me a lot. You can definitely elevate your skills to not next level, but 10 next levels if you think about all these principles, laws, however you want to call them, guidelines, because they make sense when you're starting with design. You need to know where to start from. There are reasons why some designs work and look better and some not. And having this really good foundation will help you get there where you want. Be a good designer and have amazing products that your audience love to use. I'm very happy that I shared these two resources with you. I will probably put something more in description if I think of something. But anyways, if you like this video and you want to see more, please consider subscribing. Red button is somewhere there. And also don't hesitate to put thumbs up if you want to discuss these laws or, you know, these principles, case studies. Don't hesitate to comment. I tend to answer all of questions. And until next time, Čauski.